Hi Year 10s. In this video I'm going to talk you through your assignment called Who's the Boss? A Call for Change in the Catholic Church. Now this assignment is worth 15%, so it is an important one purely because it is relating to contemporary issues and requires you to both understand the Catholic perspective but also present a modern perspective as well. So you need to really understand the issue and present it in an effective manner. The context of the assignment is the Catholic Archdiocese of Adelaide has asked for your opinion on one of the following contemporary issues. Now these have all been taken from the Synod of the Family that you learnt about in the PowerPoint and the activities. So you can choose to look at the traditional sacrament of marriage and how that fits in our modern society, whether all of it is still relevant, whether anything should be changed or stay the same. Secondly, divorce and remarriage and what that currently involves and how those people are welcomed back into the church and if anything needs to change there. Thirdly, the cost and time of annulments. So just to recap, an annulment is where a couple has been formally or legally divorced. They then need to have the marriage annulled. So it's basically like the marriage did never exist in the first place. And that then enables someone to remarry in the Catholic Church. An annulment is not required, however, if the couple does not remarry in a Catholic church, but with a civil celebrant or a different type of ceremony. You may choose to look at modern families and changing family structures, such as blended families, single parents and grandparent carers, what the church traditionally would think about modern families, and perhaps should they change their view on what is acceptable as a family. The care and acceptance of homosexuals in the church, so once again investigating what the traditional view of the Catholic Church is or was, and if anything should perhaps change, like Pope Francis is proposing. Marriage equality for same-sex couples, so looking at whether the Catholic Church allows same-sex couples to marry in the Catholic Church or accepts them as parishioners as part of the church, and also once again if anything should change there. Couples living together before marriage, so looking at the concept of why the Catholic Church did not promote couples living together before they were married, and if in fact their view or their teachings should change in our modern world. And lastly, you may choose contraception and look at what contraception the church does say is appropriate and whether you think that should change for our modern world, if there is something better that they could be promoting. If you have another idea of an issue you would like to cover that is not on the list, please feel free to discuss with me. If you have any ideas, I'm open to chatting about them, particularly if it's something that interests you or you have personal connection to with your family or a real desire to do some more research about. So your actual task is going to be to choose one of the above, the current social issues in the Catholic Church. Choose one that you think is interesting or at least semi-relevant to your life or that you could remain interested in for a few weeks as you complete this assignment. Better yet, if you can choose a topic that you're a little bit passionate about, that will really help with your presentation. Secondly, you're going to research the topic chosen. Firstly, researching the Catholic point of view, the traditional point of view on modern families, for example, or on contraception, but then you have the opportunity to look at contrasting views, so different views or more modern views. There are some planning sheets attached to ensure that you've covered the required research and documentation of your sources, so I'll go through that shortly. Once you've done all your research, you're going to prepare and present a 1-minute call for change on your chosen topic. So you're going to be either suggesting that the church should change something that they're doing or teaching or something in their writings, or you may simply decide that you're requesting that they keep the same stance or the same view because what they're doing is correct in your opinion. The different ways you can present are either as a radio segment where you will film your voice. You may choose to film what is like a TV interview or a video, or you may choose another negotiated presentation method. They will be presented to the class, time permitting, And if your media is not prepared, so you haven't pre-recorded it or filmed it, you will need to complete the presentation live to the class. So I suggest, as always, you are prepared and ready to go if you're not wanting to stand up and share your work with the class. You'll be assessed both on the 1-minute presentation as well as your planning and your script sheets, which are attached. They must be submitted on your day of presentation as well. Just scanning down now to the planning. This will really ensure that you have enough information to achieve highly and make sure that you can pass. First of all, your issue chosen. Now you need to find 3 different sources that link with your topic and share the Catholic point of view, the traditional point of view. Okay, so 3 sources. What you need to do is write the reference, so where it's from, and then the key points that they provide you about your topic. Now, sometimes for some topics, you can just type into Google Catholic perspective on contraception or Catholic perspective on homosexuality, Catholic perspective on this or this, and it will simply come up with their view, some key points. However, you can only use that for one source. Right, then you need to be a bit clever, or perhaps your topic doesn't come up so simply on Google. Here are some other ideas for places you can go. You might instead look in Google for Bible passages about the family or structure of the family, or Bible passages about sex before marriage, or Bible passages about contraception, etc. And you might find a Bible passage that has a message about your topic. You can use that Bible passage because that is the Catholic scripture, right? And use that as some of your key points or one of your sources here, okay, about what the church teaches about your topic. You may, if you're focusing on things like marriage and divorce, look at information about the sacraments, so what's actually involved. Find a source where you can find all the information about marriage. You might find what the current regulations, requirements, or practices are in the church in relation to your topic. Or you might like to go to Catholic publications such as southerncross.org.au. That's a really good one. I'm pretty sure it's got a search bar where you can search for keywords that are part of your topic to have a look for them. When you're looking for Bible passages, don't forget Bible Gateway is a great place to look when you can just simply type in keywords and then Bible passages will come up that have those keywords or relate to those keywords. So you need 3 Catholic sources. Also, if you are part of a church and you would like to ask your priest if you have a good relationship with them, or you would like to ask someone like Mr. Sivich or someone who is a strong practicing Catholic from the school, you could also use them as a source as well and ask for their opinion. Contrasting opinions. So this is more where you want to look at modern opinions or opinions that are different than what the Catholic Church would present. So consider using surveys, perhaps of maybe it is your classmates, or maybe it is of your adult family, or a survey of people who have modern families, divorced parents, etc. Whatever is relevant to you, but don't just go straight to your classmates, okay? Unless it's relevant, try and think of people you could interview or survey who would be a bit more relevant to your particular topic. You may be able to find statistics, for example, okay, about something. Like if you're looking at couples that live together before marriage, you might find some statistics that say 70% of couples live together before they get married, all right? And that there is going to give you some information to say, well, 70% do in fact live together, so therefore what the church is teaching is not getting through or is outdated, for example. You might be able to find current news articles that present people's perspectives, equal rights for same-sex marriage, for example. You may find some news articles. There may be legislation or changes made overseas, for example, in other places or in other religions, okay, about your topic, or they might deal with things differently, so you may use them as a source. You might find that you could interview someone if you're looking at annulments, for example, when you have a family member who's been through the process, you may be able to interview them about their experience. Maybe online you might find case studies or campaigns, different organisations promoting different rights or issues as well. So it really depends on your topic as to where I would recommend you look. But there is a variety of information out there. You just need to be clever and have a think what would be relevant for my topic. So once again, you need 3 sources for the contrasting view. After you have looked at both sides of the argument, so the Catholic perspective and then the contrasting views, you need to make some suggestions for change in the Catholic Church based on your research above. There are 3 dot points here. It doesn't necessarily have to be 3 points or 3 things to change. That's just there as a guide. You may only have one thing that you suggest the church changes, or you may have something you'd like to focus on and explain how they could do that. Or, as I said earlier, you might decide that in fact what the church is teaching is quite fair and quite relevant, so therefore you're not actually proposing any change in the church. So either way, you need to basically summarise your findings and then come to your own opinion and conclusion based on your research. Lastly, you will then need to put this into a script and write what your presentation method is that you've chosen. Choose something that you're either confident with or willing to learn a little bit about, whether it's video, radio, etc. Just make sure it's in a format that will be easy to submit to me or put on a USB and play so that I can watch it or listen to it. Just some tips with your 1-minute script. So that is quite short, all right? You need to make sure that you get the key bits of information, punchy information in there, no repetition or waffle. And it's important for your referencing that when you refer to someone else's research or information in your script, that you write according to so-and-so, T. Smith 2016, a non-religious marriage celebrant. They explain that their view is this, 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 and this. Okay, that's your way of in-script referencing. Also, it's important that if at the end of your talk you're going to make a suggestion for change, that you try and make your talk a bit persuasive. Better yet, if you can be passionate and make your 1-minute segment interesting, that is going to be absolutely fantastic. If you can vary your visuals or have sound effects or noise in the back of your recording or have a PowerPoint if you're going to do it live, that's going to add interest to your presentation and give you a greater chance of achieving a higher grade. Basically, you're trying to convince the Catholic Church leaders to make changes to their perspectives or practices, or you're trying to convince them to keep everything the same and don't you dare make any changes to this particular topic. There's room here if you'd like to type your script up here. 60 seconds would definitely be no more than 2 pages, and once you get started you will find that it's quite easy by the time you've covered the Catholic perspective and the contemporary to go over that. So keeping it short, concise, and just the key bits of information in your presentation. I will be able to see if you found more detail above, so don't worry if you have to skip over something or not go into as much detail as you'd like, because I will have seen it here in your planning sheet. Okay, happy planning with your assignments. Good luck.